Namaskaram to all Atmas. Today we are going to see the God's second commandment. The motto of the second commandment, Shri Atma, know the truth, that when you go deep into yourself, you realize the truth, that I am not this body, I am Atma. This Atma is same in all, whether one is a Hindu, Jew, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Jain, Sikh, Sufi, or Zoroastrian, Parsi, or any other religion in the world. All religious philosophy shows the path of human peace and not human destruction. Let us all shed our differences on account of religion, caste, creed, economic status, and work unitedly as one world family members to bring peace to humanity and world peace. This is the message of the inner voice. And God's second commandment today, let us know the message of peace to mankind from Sufism philosophy. Sufism is a mystical branch of Islam emerged in the 8th century, evolving from earlier Islamic asceticism and emphasizing a personal direct experience of the divine through spiritual practices. So, it spread from Persia and eventually reached India in the 11th and 12th centuries, where it significantly influenced religious and social life. Asceticism, asceticism in Sufism. So, Sufism mainly focused on asceticism. What is asceticism? Asceticism, known as Zuhd in Sufism, is a path of self-denial and detachment from worldly desires to achieve nearness to God. So here also, that to achieve nearness to the God, worldly attachments should be given up. This is what Bhagavad Gita also says. So all the religious philosophies say the same truth. And spiritual purification. So asceticism means the Zuhad in Sufism is meant to have attained spiritual purification by self-denial and detachment to worldly desires. It involves intentional abstinence and a focus on spiritual matters over material possessions and pleasures. So, the Sufis, they never give importance to material possessions and pleasures. Their focus is only on intentional. They intentionally abstain from themselves. That's why mostly Sufis, they are said to be like beggars because they don't have any worldly attachments. They only praise God, pray for God and salvation. Core concept of asceticism and Sufism, detachment from worldly desires. So this is the first and foremost principles of Sufism. It says Sufis practices aim to free themselves from attachment to material wealth, status, and sensual pleasures. For all these things, they don't get attached. That is the basic principles of Sufism. Emphasis on spiritual growth. Asceticism is not simply abstention from worldly things. It's a means to focus on spiritual development and achieving a direct personal experience of God. So, inner transformation. Zuhad is considered to be a means to cultivate inner qualities such as contentment, humility, and detachment, which enable one to connect with God, divine. So, to attain divinity, first thing, most important thing, ashram practices should be followed, in which contentment, humility, that is, you have to see universal, have universal love to everybody, and detachment. Universal love towards all souls, detachment, and the contentment. These three are very important for the give up the worldly passions. Different approaches. While one form of asceticism involves renouncing the world, Zuhad, other forms focus on embracing the world as a manifestation of God's beautiful names. So one is the purely renunciation path, Zuhad, while the other form is on embracing the world as a manifestation of God's beautiful names. So another is Bhakti Yoga, we can call. So God's names we chant and see the mental purification for that one. Practice. This practice of Sufism includes such as fasting, intensive prayer, self-control, tolerating hardships, and avoiding excessive indulgence in worldly pleasures. So, excessive indulgence, see, normal samsaric life, you may have to do involve in certain worldly pleasures activities to satisfy the family needs. But ex- excessive should not be there. That is what it says. So the practice, spiritual practice includes fasting, intensive prayer, do a lot of intensive prayer, samadhi dhyan. Self-control is very important. Tolerating hardship, whatever hardship you bear, you have to ensure self-control and the internal tolerance is essential. Historical context. Some Sufis draw upon the ascetic practices of the Prophet Muhammad and his earlier followers to justify their own ascetic disciplines. The origin of Sufism comes from the Prophet Muhammad and his earlier followers to justify their ascetic disciplines. Divine love. Asceticism, particularly in later Sufi tradition, is seen as a path of divine love and union with God. So asceticism deals with divinity, divine love. So you should have divine love to all souls, because you have to see God in all souls. So when such feeling comes, when you see the divine love in you, and you get in a union with God. Beyond renunciation. While renunciation is a key aspect of Sufi asceticism, it is not always about complete withdrawal from the world. Sufis may live a normal life while still practicing zuhad by maintaining a detachment from worldly desires and cultivating inner purity. So things are very clear. So they say now it is not necessary that we should withdraw from the world. Sufis may have been may live a normal life while still practicing zuhad by maintaining a detachment from worldly desires and cultivating. Though you are in the samsaric life, though you are in the midst of the attractions, worldly attractions, still, what is needed, you need to take balancing, you just restrain yourself. In essence, Sufi asceticism is a multifaceted approach to self-purification and spiritual growth, guided by a desire to draw closer to God and experience the divine. So, to approach the God, so one should follow in the Sufism asceticism, it is said that one should have multifaceted approach to self-purification and spiritual growth, guided by a desire to draw closer to God. When these spiritual practices are followed, you become closer to God and experience the divinity in you that takes one to the path of salvation. To follow this and see that you, you do all your duties without any worldly attachments. Follow strict discipline in your life. Follow the practice of asceticism in your life so that you carry on your duties without attachment to these worldly passions, fulfill your duties, release your karmas, and attain salvation and mukti. Thank you.